Hello, this is Yaakov Kronenberg. Tonight we're going to be doing a class on the times we live in. In other words, let me give you a general introduction. Everybody thinks you don't really have to know anything but astrology to be an astrologer. And that is much false, truly false. A person has to know a lot. For example, a person, when you come to do somebody's horoscope, a person is not just made up of the planetary influences. The planetary influences influence a person. And every person is going to be influenced differently by the planetary influences that are coming down. And one of the important things that you have to know is you have to know who the person is. You have to know are they religious or are they secular? That's going to be a big difference. We're going to talk about that tonight. Are they, which country are they from? Okay, if you're born in America, you got a much better chance of becoming rich than if you're born in Bangladesh. Right? So you have to know, the planetary influences are going to affect the person differently if he's in New York or Bangladesh. You have to know the person's religion. If they're a Muslim, it's going to be one thing. If they're going to be Christian, it's going to have a different impact. Maybe Buddhism, right? Or if the person is an atheist or a libertarian or whatever, everything is going to have a Democrat, Republican. Everything is going. In other words, everybody is going to receive the influences according to their background. Right? You have to look into who their parents were, what kind of childhood they had. All sorts of things are going to impact how the person receives the planetary influences. Because people think there's only the receiver, the senders, right? The senders are what comes from above. But down below the receivers, all the receivers are going to receive things differently based on who they are, what their early life was like. Like we said, all different things: religion, socio-economic status, are they from a rich family or a poor family? What opportunities they have in life, the educational level. All these things are going to influence how the person receives the influence. And so the receiver, it's a very important idea. There's not only senders, there's also receivers. And I want to talk about one thing tonight is the times we live in. In other words, we're born in, I don't know, most people are born in the 20th century, right? In the 19th. Our generation, the people alive today are somewhere from like 1915 to 1915 to born about 2017, let's say. 102 years people are there. And the people are going to be influenced by the times that they live in. And if you're born in America, you're gonna accept what's given to you. You're gonna accept the TV and the radio and the news and everything that's happening around you is going to play an influence on your life. The conventional wisdom, what's hot now in America, all sorts of things. And and can a person go against that? Can you go against the times that you live in? Now that's a deep question. Can you go against the times that you live in? Well, it's very hard. It's very hard. I can give you all sorts of examples. the big thing in America now is LBGT or whatever. And that, when I was a kid, which wasn't that long ago, 50 years ago, the worst thing you could say to somebody is that he's gay or homo. They didn't have the word gay back then. Homo. Say somebody is a homo, you're asking for a fight, you know? It's like, you call someone that. And it was like the worst thing, you know? And now, how many years later, 20, 30 years later, now they're the crown of creation. You know, they're better than straight people almost. You know, it's like things like, oh, like turned around. Why? What changed? What changed? Why? You have to know that most of the wisdom in the world, there really isn't. What becomes conventional wisdom isn't because it's correct. It's because a lot of times it's just who yells the loudest, and who controls the airwaves, and who controls the agenda, and who the president is, and who's running the country. And they make it into what they want it to be. It doesn't necessarily, it's just their opinions, but it's not necessarily true or false. And so it says, it's, especially in morality, the morality is always changing. The world went through a lot of moral changes in the last 50 years, tremendous changes. And we'll be talking about that. How do you influence a client? How do you help a client? Do you want them to be, do you want them, and today, 30, 40 years ago, people used to be into astrology because they wanted a deeper understanding of themselves and a way to change themselves. Today, people just call me up, money, sex, you know, all the basics in American society. They want to know, well, what's a good job? That's a good question already. What's a good profession? But people aren't so much into it as they just want to know, you know, what's coming to them, basically. And when's it going to come, and how fast. And that's definitely a problem. And I'll give you an example. So like in Judaism, in Jewish, now let's get back to Jewish astrology. Jewish astrology is based on an archetype chart, the Rama is shown. And it's, of course, based on fundamental principles built around the Torah, the commandments, a certain moral behavior, what's expected, not only what you receive, but also what you have to give is also an important part in things. And so let's talk about the times we live in. For example, I get a horoscope from a woman in Tel Aviv. And she wants to know how many children she'll have. What do I tell her? If everything looks good in the horoscope, I tell her, you'll have as many children as you want. Right? Because in Tel Aviv, more, when I say Tel Aviv, I mean secular area. It could be New York, it could be anywhere. The idea is that you know, it's family planning. That's conventional wisdom of the 20th century. You can't afford to have a lot of children. It's not a good idea. People get divorced. They get saddled with, the woman will get saddled. She'll marry 3-4 years, have 2 kids, and then the divorce, she'll be saddled for the rest of her life with children, etc., etc. So they do what's called family planning. You choose when to get pregnant. Okay, in Jerusalem, the average, so if you compare, like, say, Jerusalem to Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, the average woman has maybe an average of about 6 children, 7 children. Tel Aviv, it's an average of about 3, which is pretty good in comparison to the rest of the world. where it's maybe one or two at the most. So there's the Jews like to have children. Children is an important part of the Jewish experience. But in any case, so you see right away the influence of religion. Right? The influence of religion. We have a moral background where the idea is to be fruitful and multiply. You want to have children. You need to populate the world. Look at the world today. Why are people from the third world going to the first world? Because the first world doesn't have people. They have no population growth, so they're desperate for people. So they take people in. Now they see the people they're taking in are destroying the values of the country and the social fiber of the country, and now they maybe want to kick them out. But a lot of the countries, but still, you're still left with the demographic dilemma: what to do when you have a society that doesn't reproduce. It's a big problem. So again, it's an idea of how do you talk to a client? You know, they only know the times they live in. And so how do you influence them? And that we'll talk about next time some more. And thank you for listening.